Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to different brushes and how you can use them. There are many different types of brushes, but for this video, what I'm going to show you are the brushes that I'm using mainly for acrylic painting and paintings of landscapes and portraits. And the main one that I'm using is of course the flat brush. And I have 3 different sizes here that I'm going to just demo quickly how you can use a flat brush. So a flat brush is great for making flat lines, of course, as the name is suggesting. You can also make straight lines by using the flat side of it. If there are any details that you need to be very careful and you want to make very nice and clear lines, a flat brush can be really helpful for using. This is 3/4 of an inch flat brush. Again, as you see, you can make very nice lines. You can also use it for writing things, calligraphy, and also for, you see, you can make very nice lines. You can also use the flat brush for painting large areas, for example for like the skies and any area that you need to quickly cover, and use a 1 inch or 2 inch width of the brush. Or there's also the larger version of it, which is these brushes, and I use these mainly for the skies if I'm painting a landscape and any area that is large and you want to cover. This is a great brush. Now something else that I do, or I use the flat brush for, is for making small details. So if you use your brush as dry and just tapping it, you can make different marks. This is something that I use a lot for, let's say, making trees or making the leaves on the trees when I'm painting the leaves. So that's something that you can use. It will be even greater if you use the larger brush while it is dry and just dipping it into the paint and making some, just by tapping it, and you can get very nice marks like that. I also use the flat brush for any sort of blending too. Let's say, let's try here. Make sure to use some water to make it easier for the paint to move. And let's say we want to blend it with white. So the flat brush allows me to very quickly move my paint around and blend it nice and easy. This is something that they call feathering. It is something that you can use, the kind of technique that you can use for sky again, for painting the clouds. And as you see, just making little marks. Flat brush can be really helpful. Now let's move on to our round brush, which is this one. Can be used for just covering up, making nice lines. I would say the round brush is more helpful when you are trying to get nicely detailed lines. Let's say if you are drawing outlines, the round brush can be really useful for that. But still, I wouldn't use the round brush for, let's say, the the first drawing or sketch before I start my painting. I would still very much use my flat brush because it allows me to do very quick lines and keep them even. With the round brush, you cannot make very even lines if we just apply pressure to it. But it can be a useful brush for, again, if you are just trying to color an area, or again for some of the leaves on the trees, you can again use it as a stamp if you are using it slightly dry. This is what you get. There's also the very fine brush that is also a round brush for making very fine lines. So for any details, I use this brush mainly for the very final details of any painting and drawing my signature. So if you need to make very detailed and nice fine lines, the fine brush is the brush to use. Of course, again, it takes some practice. I have a fan brush here. Fan brush is set that is used for covering up large areas and blending, but I find that fan brush is actually great for, again, leaves on the trees, or if you are, you see, it leaves very nice marks. If you're trying to paint grass, this is very nice. Well, let's see if we're going to use it as a blending. Yeah, I guess you could use it as a good blending brush, but still I prefer the flat brush over the fan brush for blending. It's best for making marks and details for the trees and grass pretty much. There's also an angle brush, and this is a small angle brush, but it's overused slightly, so it's been deformed, but it's still also good for using some details and again mark making for trees. So if there are tiny leaves on the tree, you can use this brush. Otherwise, if you're going to make straight lines, it does not give you the best form. Flat brush gives you the best form if you're trying to get like very nice details and covering large areas. Make sure to wash and clean your brushes completely and thoroughly, so no pigments of paint is left in brushes. So take care of your brushes so you can use them for longer time. Thank you very much for watching this video, and goodbye.